The other thing that I've still been doing my week is playing SD Gundam Battle Alliance.
Oh, yes.
And man, I'm so torn on this game right now because I really do like it. It's really fun. I love the character interactions. There's a moment where Jim Gingham from Turn A Gundam declares that he's in the Turn X, and he declares that he is piloting the Burning Gundam from G Gundam, and your character immediately assumes, well, this must be Domon Kashu then, because they haven't met Domon Kashu yet. And then later on, he says, actually, it was a lie. And it's like, everybody's all shocked. It's like, yeah, no, that's Jim Gingham. That's for sure. That's Jim Gingham. It's just a really funny little moment. But, man, this game's so weird.
Well, you talked a little bit about you enjoying the game, but it was grindy.
Yeah. So, you unlock these cool new suits, right? I unlocked the Turn X, and I'm all excited about it. But it's level 1, and my Freedom Gundam's level 27. And you may say, well, just level it up, Trey, just level it up. Well, it costs capital to level up suits. It's an animal Pokemon. That makes sense.
Freedom Gundam must be an American. That's cool.
It costs capital, which you earn from playing missions. And if I do a run of a mission, for instance, I get barely enough, if enough, basically, to level up my Freedom again from 27 to 28. Or I could spend that on that Turn X, leveling it up to like level 7, right?
Yeah.
But I still then can't use the Turn X in my current missions because those missions are level 30 missions.
Yeah.
And I'm barely scraping by with my Freedom.
So you pick one. You got to pick one Gundam and go.
Pretty much.
Pick one number suit and stick with it, huh?
Pretty much. And the problem is, because each suit has like a different style of play, man, do you remember so we're far enough into Zeta Gundam. We'll talk a little bit of spoilers of Zeta Gundam. Do you remember how the Hyakushiki has that like special coating?
Yeah, for the blasters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there are other suits in this game that have that, which means your beam weapons aren't as effective. The suit that I'm using, the Freedom, uses a lot of beam weapons and has some decent melee, which means that when I'm up against those, I have to use a different suit.
Yeah.
So it means I have to level a different suit. And so I have 2 suits that are coating, as in to put on a coat. So I have to have 2 suits roughly at that level, right? Which means that I have to just replay levels to get the money to be able to upgrade my second suit to that level. But then you have the problem of when you're in melee with bosses, they don't get staggered by most attacks, which means that you hit them with your melee attack and they hit you with their melee attack and they do a lot more damage than you do to them.
I'm not better at it.
So it really, because like I'm using the Exia for my melee because it can hit and then I can dash back and then do a backflip slash that's pretty cool. And then I can dash out again and backflip slash. And I'm sure you can see where this is going.
Flash?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's also some units that render beam effects basically worthless. And then there are some enemy mobile armors that can fly and make it almost impossible to hit them with melee. So you kind of have to have one of both. Yeah, it takes an incredible amount of capital to get from level 1 to level 30. And it just feels like a really weird design decision of, hey, get these cool suits that you want to use, and then, hey, but you can't really use them unless you just grind.
Yeah.
Then, and obviously I'm going to get more into it when I've beaten the game, because I don't know if when I get to the end, if I'm going to get some part that gives me a bunch more capital every time I do a run,
Yeah.
But your AI partners are kind of garbage. They will pick you up, but the problem is they will both come to pick you up, and if you're down, the boss will focus on one of them, and if they're both on top of you trying to pick you up and not making it go faster by both being there, then the boss is just attacking them, and then you're not getting picked up. And if they die while you're down, you lose the mission, and you don't get any of your parts or blueprints. 30 to 50 is 1.4 million. Ugh.
What a jump.
Yeah.
The first 30 levels.
Yeah.
Cost what? about a sixth. No, yeah, seventh of the next 20.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's expensive. And I think on the whole, the combat's still worth it, right? This is a game that I will go back to and keep playing over time just for, hey, I like to play with these cool suits, especially when they add DLC and like, hey, now there's this suit or this suit. But then it comes to the third problem I have, which is that the demo has, you remember the Zaku, of course, right? And the demo has a Zaku and a GM. No Zaku, boy. And the demo has a Dom that you get early on.
Yeah.
And so the demo makes you believe, hey, you're going to get to play a lot of cool grunt suits, right? There are no grunt suits after that. It's all ace units after that. I guess technically you can get a GM sniper, but like you're not getting, I can't play as a Leo or a Virgo. I can't play as at guy or something like that. You know, it's just, hey, you can play as the main suits and you can play as a couple specific offsuits. But I still really like the game. And so where I'm at right now is like this weird middle ground of this is a really fun game that I really like, but I'm also really bummed out by.
fair enough.
So
Fair enough. They've come. There's been a few games that have kind of had, like, there's a game I love, but it's got the first Total War.
Yeah.
Shogun Total War.
Yeah.
Love that game. Was really kind of basic. I mean, you do get some advanced groups and stuff, but a lot of it you end up doing the same thing over and over again because that's the way to do it. You pick
Right.
one path. You know, you don't have multiple things to build.
I wish, because there's a partner mechanic. Here's how, if I got to armchair dev, here's how I'd fix this, right? I'd increase the amount of capital you get by 15% for every run. It's not a huge amount more. You're still going to have to grind, but it does, like, there's reasons to grind anyway, right? Because you get more blueprints, stuff like that. But it makes it more effective when you grind. I would reduce the amount that it takes to level suits by half, just a sheer half cut for the entire 50 level range. That 1.4 million is now 7 million to get from 30 to 50. You know what I mean?
700,000.
700,000. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Cut that in half, and then I would make it where with that. This is armchair stuff where you don't have to add anything really, right? You don't have to add extra content. I'm not saying add more suits. The final thing I would do is make it where if I have a partner unit play as that suit and they level up that suit's leveled up. Because it still had to make it through the mission to get there.
Yeah.
Instead of just being leveled up for them. And I think that would fix all of it.
Yeah. That would be. I like the last part of that, just because you get a bonus for that makes it worth partnering up.
Right.
All right, what do we got? SD, you've been talking about that one for a couple of days, so a couple of podcasts. We should know what that is.
Pull up the ice cream.
Right.
I would think so. I would think at this point people would know. This is a just for anybody who doesn't. This is a arcade style hack and slash, I guess you could say, with SD versions of Gundams. You don't get loot drops as much as you get parts drops that can then be applied to your mobile suit after the mission. You have a limited number of revives if you go down, and heals are the same as revives. It's the same resource for both. So you have to be really careful with your fighting. But you can play as a bunch of different mobile suits, and you have 2 AI partner units to help you fight against enemy mobile suits and mobile armors from all across the series. What do you think the critic average score is going to be for SD Gundam Battle Alliance?
I'm going to go 83.
Okay. Level 80 is the cap. What do you think, Jack?
What is the review score?
70, 75 plus. You can't use a plus. That's cheating. No plus.
No plus.
There we go. There we go.
So 70, 75. I got an 83. I don't know. I was kind of torn out. I don't know how they're going to take it because it's an SD.
The score is 73.
Oh,
so you're all right around it.
Yes.
Let me read some reviews for you here. Outer Haven Productions says SD Gundam Battle Alliance is a love letter to Gundam fans, full of recognizable characters, Gundams, and serves as a history lesson for newcomers and veterans.
Okay. That sounds like a pretty good review.
Then we have Twinfinite, who says SD Gundam Battle Alliance is a game for Gundam fans, but actual knowledge of the series isn't wholly important to your enjoyment. If you just want some great action RPG gameplay featuring some of the best mechs ever introduced in anime, this game has you covered. The array of available Gundam to choose from will keep you replaying missions just to find the one suit perfect for you.
Okay. Okay.
And then RPG Site says Art Dink's first Gundam game in a decade is surprisingly a challenge as a purely solo experience, and playing with others may make this action RPG shine despite its handful of flaws. But I do have one more for you.
Okay.
PC Invasion says, with eternally stagnant, overly repetitive combat with subpar lock-on to boring, tiny levels, SD Gundam Battle Alliance is a substantial step down from the quality of Art Dink's PSP classics.
Wow. That was rude.
It's a little harsh, yeah.
I think I'm gonna move my score up to a 76 for the recommended.
Okay.
I think they'll give it a little push on the recommended.
What do you think, chat?
Like, the reviews didn't sound like a 73, but
Right.
71. Okay. Okay. I'm down.
Said we could go, and the score is 50%.
Oh. How do you feel about that? Or do you feel betrayed?
I think it's a little low. I think I can understand a 60 with how repetitive the game can get. For sure, I could understand that. I think if it was easier to use more suits, I think that, hey, maybe people would be a little bit more kind to it then. But I could understand a 60. But 50, like, there's a lot of care put into this game. I didn't really talk about it in my section earlier for my week, but when I do the full review for it, I'm going to mention how the levels are painstakingly crafted to represent the areas they come out of in the worlds.
Okay.
You can even see in one wing mission, you can see Sank Kingdom off to the side, and it's fully modeled out, even though you don't go there in that mission. There's no they could have just put a JPEG there in the distance, and you would have still been fine with it. But you can see it fully modeled out. There's so much care put into the suits and making them look right. I just feel like 50 is an unfair score for how much work was put into this game.